Hi everybody, I'm Dr. David Wallace, and I am pleased to announce that my flute viola harp trio with flutist April Clayton and harpist Christy Shade has just released our newest CD, Big Sky, from Bridge Records. Big Sky includes 3 world premiere recordings: Sunrise by Thea Musgrave, Big Sky by Daniel Dorff, and My Heart is the Churning Sea by Jessica Meyer. We also have 2 second recordings, David Bruce's The Eye of Night and Angelica Negron's Drawings for Mayoko, and a recording of the classic trio, Elegiac Trio by Sir Arnold Bax. Big Sky is a concept album where all the music is inspired by nature, and there's a theme of the sea, the sky, the human response, as well as profound reactions to the turmoil of life and nature. Big Sky opens with Sunrise by Thea Musgrave. Thea Musgrave recently turned 95. She is one of Scotland's living composers, and this was written in 2009 as a commission from flutist Carol Winsett, who was celebrating her Ruby anniversary, her 40th year on the concert stage. And Carol is actually a mentor of April Clayton as well as one of her teachers, and in fact, Hat Trick, back when we were still in school, had done some coaching with her. Sunrise is a masterpiece. It's a tone poem that depicts the pre-dawn calm and quiet and darkness and stirrings, and then finally the sun coming up in the glorious daylight. The premiere was successful. It got good reviews. The trio was published, but up until this record, it hadn't been recorded yet. And so we hope that the inspiration of this Sunrise will cause other groups to perform and record Thea Musgrave's Sunrise as well. In 2019, Hat Trick had performed at the National Flute Association conference in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we had approached Daniel Dorff about possibly writing a piece for Hat Trick. And so on a Zoom, we talked about it, and he asked us, well, where are some places that you perform or might perform? And we named some of the different festivals or venues where we had played. And I had mentioned performing at the Big Sky Chamber Music Festival in Montana. And Danny just perked up. He's like, Big Sky, Big Sky, Big Sky. Unbeknownst to us, he had visited Big Sky, Montana as a young man, and just the huge expanse of nature and the mountains and the sky had made such an impression that he decided, you know what, I'm going to write you an American classical piece that really captures the beauty and openness and majesty of the mountains. And actually, he said, as far as a program note, all you need is the movement names, Montana Morning and Dancing Under the Stars. The one classic work which is not 21st century is by British composer Sir Arnold Bax, Elegiac Trio. And this is one of the standard works that every flute viola harp trio must learn. Elegiac Trio is a response to the Easter Rising in Ireland. Although he was an English composer and citizen, Sir Arnold Bax really loved the Irish people and the Irish culture. And he actually had some personal friends who had been killed or executed as a consequence of the Easter Rising. So this trio uses the flute and the harp, which are common instruments in Irish culture, to evoke the sounds of Ireland, and the viola adds some gravity and pathos. And rather than being a work which is focused on the despair or the violence, this really is an elegiac work which is a tribute to Arnold Bax's lost friends, their ideals, and his hope for a beautiful, peaceful, and free future. When Hat Trick had first performed most of the repertoire for this CD, we realized we need one more work to give some contrast, some kick, some energy, some up-tempo, and a whole sense of surprise. And we thought, who better to do that Then our friend Jessica Meyer, who is a violist and a composer, and who already knew all three of us. When we approached Jessica, she had been out on Montauk just after a hurricane had been working its way up the East Coast, and she saw some amazing waves. And she thought about just how the sea could be so electric and full of surprises and potential, and how our heart reacts to nature. So Jessica decided to write us a piece inspired by this dynamic crashing of waves. She writes a storm for flute, viola, and harp. There are some big cadenzas for both the flute and the viola, and the harp is doing just some amazing work rhythmically. You never know what's going to come next, and it's not like any other work for flute, viola, harp trio. We hope you will enjoy that too. David Bruce is a British composer as well as quite an established YouTuber, and he wrote a beautiful piece for the Myriad Trio in San Diego called The Eye of Night. This is a piece that has 4 nocturnes, 4 movements that are inspired by the night sky, the way we feel when we look at it, the smallness that we have, and each movement gives us a different aspect of that. In addition, both April and I are using our instruments to evoke the sound of Indian classical instruments, the bansuri kind of clay flute that is used in Indian classical music, as well as all these slides that Carnatic violinists use in the music. One of my favorite movements of The Eye of Night is the last movement, where the viola plays without vibrato and imitates a viol. And so there's these double stops, very plaintive melody. And the entire time, April is playing a bass flute. So you have this very deep, very calm and breathy sound. And it's one of the few times I've ever been above the flute and supported by bass lines from the flute. At the end of the movement, Christy also gets to play the melody that I played at the opening on harp, and it's just a very beautiful, peaceful, and profound movement. And the final work on the CD is Drawings for Mayoko by my good friend Angelica Negron, who is a composer in New York City who uses a lot of electronics as well as soundscapes. This is a piece where the violist doubles on banjo and the flutist plays alto flute for all of it. Mayoko is a visual artist who is from Ecuador and who uses a lot of fanciful pen and ink drawings. Oftentimes they have gears or mechanicals, or sometimes there's also birds and other imagery. And Angelica's idea was, what if she created some musical drawings, you know, and just musical responses to Mayoko's drawings, and the idea of just animating some of these pen and ink drawings through music and electronics. In this piece, all of us sing, all of us crumple paper, and it's just a wonderful work that goes over very well with audiences. Drawings for Mayoko was first commissioned by the Brooklyn-based flute, viola, harp trio Janus. So I hope you will enjoy Big Sky. In the video description, I will put a link to where you can stream Big Sky, as well as where you can purchase the CD. That's the best way to support the artists. I also strongly encourage you, if you have Apple Music or Amazon Music, both of those have the Dolby Atmos version in surround sound. So you'll actually have an immersive experience of listening to us, and in Drawings for Mayoko, the harp will actually fly over your head. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Here's to Big Sky. Finally, I wanted to mention that Bridge Records has submitted Hat Trick's Big Sky album for the Grammy for Best Chamber Small Ensemble Performance. If you are a voting member of the Recording Academy, I invite you to have a listen, and please consider voting for us so that we can make it onto the final ballot. Thank you.